Hi guys, I'm here to show you how I tie up one of my helicopter leaders on Leadcore. You can also do this on lead-free leader exactly the same way. So I'll begin by showing you the components that we use to do this one. We've got the ESP Leadcore in 45 pound in weedy green, which is my favourite. Nice flecked finish to that as well. I think it blends in very well, or suspect it blends in very well. QC rings from in size 8. You can use the size 11, but I think that the size 8 just gives you a little bit more strength, and I don't really see the need to drop down any lower. Quarter heli safe to go on the bottom. You can use C-clips or you can attach your lead other ways, but if you want to drop the lead, really recommend these. Great little system for doing that. You can also lock it out so that you don't have to drop the lead as well. Tungsten loaded beads from ESP. They come with a length of silicone which fits over the Leadcore nicely, and you can just twist the bead on and then it holds it perfectly. A couple of splicing needles and a decent pair of braid blades. Now you can also tie this set up with a quarter leg clip, or any leg clips really, sorry, not just mention quarter. I have it set up with a QC setup on the end, so I can just leave the leader on and change my hook length. But for this time I'm going to show you how I set up for the helicopter. Now this will mainly be for fishing over softer ground, where I'm not entirely sure what the lake bottom is like, where I think there might be some weed or possibly some silt, and the lead might plug, and I want my hook length to actually sit nicely over the top, which is what will happen with the helicopter setup. The lead will plug in, and then obviously the hook length will then rise up, hit the bead wherever you set that along the line, and then that was where the hook length will settle. So it's ideal for fishing. You can also obviously fish a choddy or something else on that link as well. So to start with, we'll take a length of Leadcore. Now the length of Leadcore that you take off will depend largely on where you're fishing. So if you're dropping into, like say, a small hole in the weed or a gravel patch in the weed, then you'll want a fairly short link. You don't want to be hanging this up in the weed over here because it's very thick. But if you've got a nice clear patch, then you might want a bit longer. It also is a very effective snag leader, so that will come into your thinking as well, or should come into your thinking. So we'll take a length of that. Now the first thing we have to do is we have to expose or take out the lead that's in it. So I use my finger, or fingernail, sorry, just to scrape it back. And I don't know if you can see it on the camera, you end up with a little bit of exposed lead, like that. So what I'm going to do is just pull that until I've got quite a bit there, snap it off. Now the key thing to remember here is to go right to the other end of the lead, not really moving the sheath on the outside. Pinch it nice and hard, and then slide your fingers all the way down the lead core, and that way you'll keep the lead inner where it is. It won't move within the thing, and you'll end up with a nice floppy bit on the end, which you can then work with. And it's good to leave yourself plenty of stuff to work with because it gets a bit tight otherwise. Right, then we take our splicing needle, open the gate on it, hook it into the middle, turn it round, and then push it up. So that basically you can see what's happened there is the splicing needle is going up in the middle of the Leadcore like that. Don't need to go too far down it, so just a little bit like that. Open it up, and we're going to make a loop on the end of this one. So we're just going to pinch it into, use the hook to hook it into the actual material. Sorry, it's not hooking in. Let's do that again. So hook it in, close the gate, trying not to stab our finger too badly, pull it back down, and then what we're going to do is going to pull that material through the hole we've created. Now the key to remember with this is not to pull too hard, or if it gets stuck, just keep teasing like this, and eventually it will go down inside. You can twist the needle, don't do it too much because you'll end up with a bit of twist in the top of your thing. Just the key is just to keep being patient, just teasing it along like that, and eventually it will come out the other side. If you pull too hard, which is what people tend to do, you will snap your baiting needle, your splicing needle. And at £2.70 odd, £3 per baiting needle, you don't want to be doing that too often. And as you see, with a bit of patience, the odd twist here and there, and get it coming out nice and easy. You can see the top of the needle is already coming out, and eventually this will just pop out in the next couple of pulls. There we go. Okay, I've yet to find, so that's about the right size of loop on the end that I want. So I'm going to trim the end of this, just like that. Now, if I was to tie a piece of line to the end of that, like my main line, pull, that will never ever pull through. But if you are untrusting, someone like me, you can pop a little bit of super glue on there, and then that will never move in the month of Sundays. Okay, so now we're going to take the other end, but the first thing we need to do is get our heli-safe out. So again, take our heli-safe out and we'll have a quick look at this. For those of you who've not used this product, brilliant, absolutely superb. And you can see that the little latch on the end there, that's how it drops the lead. This bit moves up on a spring and the lead will just fall off. So in terms to put this on, we have to deconstruct it. So you've got a little bead there, you just twist the lid, pull it out. Just do it carefully so the spring doesn't disappear off across the table. And then take the bits apart. So you put your spring on, your head, the case that goes over the top, and then take a little splicing needle and let's just poke out. Oh, there we go. That's where you've got to be careful. The little half swivel that sits there, and that's what we're going to splice onto the bottom of our Leadcore leader. So we'll put that to one side. Take the Leadcore leader, and we're just going to, again, tease out the middle, like so. So we've got hold of the Leadcore. There we go. And we'll just snap that off. And then we go right to the other end again. Pinch hold of the Leadcore. Slide our fingers all the way down to the end again. And hopefully we've got a nice bit that we can then deal with there. So then we take our bait needle exactly the same as we did with our loop. Hook it into the material, turn it round and push it up. So again, it's gone inside the thing there. Again, we don't need to go too far down. Bit of saliva on the end of that just to make sure it goes through the swivel. And then we'll hook that into the end like there. Flip the latch over if we can. I tend to find the latches on these ones stick a little bit, so just get my thumbnail underneath it and push it over. Pull the two things together and then just start easing it through. So just as we did before, pulling it into the material and making sure that we do this nice and steadily. You do 20 or 30 of these, it certainly starts to rub on your fingers, but if you're only doing one or two, it's not too bad. So the odd twist now and again will help move it along. Or you can twist it back the other way and then just keep pulling like that. And eventually this will just pop through again. But the key is really to be patient, because if you're not patient, you will end up snapping the needle. Just as you think it's not coming, it starts to come like that. Okay, so apologies for shaking the camera there. Pull that one down. And again, we'll just trim that off. There, pull it back. And we can trim it a bit tighter than that. And then we'll pull the thing back, and there you go. See, I'm putting really, really hard on that swivel. And to be honest, the swivel is probably more likely to break than the Leadcore knot. Okay, so there we go. That's the basis of it. Now we need to reconstruct our heli-safe. So we'll thread that through, put that on there. So you can see that's just slotted on using the splicing needle. Then we need to find our coil spring and slot that onto the end and push that through again, and also the cap of the heli-safe. So I'm going to put that on again, close the latch on the needle. Oops. Do the same again and drop that on. Right, then we need to bring the outer case up. Now what we need to do here is make sure the swivel goes up inside here. That's located. Push the down, and then we just make sure that the pointy bit down is opposite the gate there. Then we'll slide the lid down into place. Oh dear. Do that again. So slide the lid down, put the knob in place, it goes through there, so you've got the two little notch, and then turn it to the side, lock it in place, and that's the heli-safe put on. And you can see there, if I pull that, the lead, when the fish pulls, will then discharge as well. You can set a colour on these so they never discharge, so it will always just sit like that. So you can do it both ways. Okay, now we need to finish the rig off by putting our swivel on and putting our loaded bead on as well. So we'll take a size 8 ring swivel. And it's just as simple as pinch the loop, drop the big ring around there, and that just gives that plenty of room. I don't have a stop bead, I just let it go right down to the bottom. It's not going to cut through the leg core at any point, so I don't have to worry about that. And then take a length of silicone tubing, it doesn't have to be too big, because you're only looking to pop a bead on it. And then again, just use your splicing needle, slide it onto there, open the gate up, trying to get the actual needle to come through the end of the thing. Go past the gate, so the latch gate there, then take your loop, put it through, close the latch gate, and then slide that down. And then once it's onto the actual leg core, it will move quite easily once it's pinched. Once it's unpinched, it'll be a little bit tougher to move. And then you just set that wherever you think you want to. So for example, if it's only a little bit silty, you wouldn't want to set it too high, but you can set it as high as you want. You can set it right at the top, so it's just kind of free running, and you know that you'll be fishing regardless. Right, take one of your tungsten beads, again using your splicing needle. Now you want to position this so that the smaller hole is at the end with the loop, and the bigger hole is ready to go onto the silicone tube. So again, close the gate on the leader, pull the bead onto it, and you can see the bead itself, when it's not on the silicone, will move really, really easily. Will pass quite easily over the knot on the top. I'm just going to demonstrate that again. Just pull off like it's hardly even there. So should you snap up, the hook link will just slide off without any obstruction at all, which is really, really important. Okay, now I'm going to slide that down like that, and then literally just pinch the bead and twist it onto the piece of rubber, and you can see then that is secure enough on the cast and secure enough to stop it. But should the fish get snagged, it's a really easy job for that to pop off, and it won't hold it up at all. Okay, so they're supremely well designed to go together, and that is how I finish my heli-safe rigs or helicopter rigs.